looks like a rectangle, but I got to read the question. It says, what's the area of just the shaded portion? Okay, well, the shaded portion is this, which is a triangle. So again, they're asking us to find the area. Well, I could do the whole rectangle and I can divide it by 2 because that's what the triangle formula is, right? It's half of it. So I'm going to put in here area is equal to, guys, length and the width is the same as base and height. It doesn't change that, right? So it's going to be 12 times 8, but the big kicker, because it's only half, I'm going to divide it by 2. So when I take and I multiply 12 times 8, I get 96. I still have to divide that by 2 because 96 is the rectangle. I just want the triangle. I divide that by 2 and I get an area of 48 square inches. Okay. Next, let's take a look at number 6. Number 6, we had another complex shape. Again, the way that you see this might be different than the way I see this. You might have divided it in a different way, but you should come out with the same exact answer no matter how you did it. I looked at it like this, that it was a block sitting on top of another block. Okay, I'm going to find the area of the big block first. So area is equal to length times width. That's 9 times 3. So the area of this block should be 27 yards squared. Okay, then I have to find the small block, and I don't have all the dimensions there. I do have the 5, so I can do area is equal to 5 times, and then I got to figure out what that other thing is, right? I have to figure out this piece. Again, if this whole thing is 6, and this side is 3, well, if I extended this line, it has to equal to 6. So 3 plus 3 is 6. So this side is 3. 5 times 3 is 15, right? So the area is equal to 15 yards squared. I'm not done yet. I have to put them together. I have to take the 15 and the 27, and I have to add them together. And you should have gotten 42 square yards. Okay. Let's take a look at the next one. You have a pentagon. It's light. I'm sorry about that. I will hope you can see that. It's on yours, right? I'm going to actually make the line darker so you can see it a little bit better. And this one, you guys, you could solve this 2 different ways. You could solve this taking it apart, or you could do 2 trapezoids and stick them together. I suggest the easier way. I wouldn't do the 2 trapezoid ways. Even though they have this dotted line down the middle, hint, 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 they have one on the quiz like this. I would see this as a square with a triangle sitting on top, just like you used to draw houses when you were little, right? So I would take it apart this way, and I would do the square first. 7 inches times 7 inches is 49 inches squared. I don't even need to use my calculator for that part. Then I'm going to go in and do the triangle. Again, area is equal to the base times the height divided by 2. Plug in my numbers. Well, I know the base, if this is 7, this has to be 7, right? So it's 7 times, and then I've got to figure out the height. Guys, if this is 7 and this whole thing is 10, that means just this part must be 3, right? Because 7 plus 3 is equal to a whole height of 10. So my height is 3. I'm going to divide it by 2. 21 divided by 2. You're going to get 10.5. Okay, so I have to add my 10.5 to my 49, and you would get 59.5. Remember, decimal points are important. So when you're taking the quiz and you have a couple that come in the decimals, you've got to have that decimal point in there, or else it's going to make the whole thing wrong. Again, on the quiz, we just want the numerical answer. We just want the numbers. Okay. Last but not least is another one that's kind of similar. Again, I'm going to make it so you can see a little bit better here. It didn't print out as dark as I wanted it to. Okay, so again, you could solve this in different ways. I'm going to solve it the easiest way I know how. I'm going to solve this as a rectangle and a triangle. You could do two trapezoids, you'll get up the same answer, but I find this to be a whole lot easier. Okay, so again, the rectangle, you notice there are decimal points in here, right? And you notice there's two that's kind of similar. Hint, hint, there's two on your quiz that are like this, so make sure that you know how to do it. I'm going to do my rectangle first, or my square actually, because it's 15.5 times 15.5. So area is equal to length times width. I'm going to do the 15.4. Sorry, I misspoke before. It wasn't 15.5. It's 15.4 times 15.4. Right? That's a decimal point. And when you do this, you're going to get a big number, but we get to use the calculator. So that makes life easy, right? So this rectangle in here is 237.16 inches squared. I'm not done yet. So now I've got to figure out the triangle. Okay. Again, with the triangle, I've got to figure out the height. The base is already done for me, right? So my area is equal to the base times the height. We're going to divide the whole thing by 2. The base, I already know. Guys, if this is 15.4, this has to be 15.4. So it's 15.4 times, and I've got to figure out that height. Again, if this whole thing is 21.3 and this part is 15.4, then I just subtract those two numbers. I take 21.3, subtract 15.4, and I should come up with 5.9 in my calculator. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this by 5.9, and then I'm going to divide this by 2. Well, when I put in my calculator the 15.4 times the 5.9, I'm going to get 90.86. I have to divide that by 2, and that's going to give me 45.43. I'm not done. I've got to take my two answers now. I've got to take my 45.43 and my 237.16, and I have to add those together because the two shapes are added together. So I have to add them together, and you should get 282.59 square inches. That's it. That's a review for your quiz. So make sure that you know that you have your formulas in front of you when you take your quiz tomorrow. Make sure that you're double checking everything with a calculator. If, you know, this quiz is at your pace, so if you need to stop and you need to rewatch part of a video in order to figure out, do that, you guys, okay? And don't forget to hit submit at the end, because that's how I'm going to get it. They're worth 10 points a piece. So make sure that you're careful with it, and may the force be with you. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.